All right, guys, we got a little reaction video today. I found this video by this guy Roars. I thought it sounded pretty interesting, so we're gonna watch it, give some insights, and see if he knows what he's talking about. So let's begin right now.
G'day everyone, my name is Roars, and today we're going to be breaking down the best male arc.
This guy is a stud, man. Very good looking guy. Beautiful eyes. Do you think that's his real eye color, or do you think those are contact lenses? Comment down below. And also, if you enjoy this video and get anything out of it, please consider gently caressing the subscribe button. Now, let's continue.
Archetypes, starting from max appeal all the way down to negative appeal. Now, first one within the Ogre tier is the Viking archetype.
Did I even say what the name of this video is? You can tell I'm a very experienced, very seasoned reaction channel. This is the most attractive male archetypes tier list. If you don't know what an archetype is, that's basically just like a genre of person, right? It's like there's punk rock, then there's, punk rock guys. There's pop music, and then there's, the popular girls at school, maybe the cheerleaders or something, so on and so forth.
One within the Ogre tier is the Viking archetype. This will be typically your powerlifters at your local gym, or the super stocky, very masculine guys. Your Eddie Halls and your Thor Bjornssons. To be honest, man, these guys really do not give a fuck about how they look to women. They're gonna pack as much meat on their frame so they can lift as much weight as—
That is not an ogre. I don't know if this was just a slip up by using his clip right there, but David Lade is anything but an ogre. He's a freaking stud. But I think maybe it was just, for optics.
Looks meaning archetype. I'm going to put this one into negative appeal. Next up is the—
Man, he's throwing shade at the ogres. I like the ogre look, but I'm a guy, and us guys have different, things that appeal to us. Not in like a attraction way, but like, I just think it's a cool look. Like the mountain from Game of Thrones, like it's just like a spectacle that is impressive.
General hypermasculine sort of archetype. Guys like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, John Cena, guys who look hypermasculine but just over the top in terms of their musculature. This tier almost always relies on you being on anabolic androgenic steroids, and for the most part in this tier, you're not really going to be attracting many girls that are below the age of 40. Now for this one, I think it has a lot more appeal than the Viking / strongman archetype, so I'm going to have to put this one into low appeal. First up—
so that's like the ogre lights. It's like the ogre, but lower body fat and maybe a little bit more handsome face, I guess. And I have to agree, but I would maybe put him at mid appeal. I think tons of people love The Rock. I think he's a good looking guy. I think there's millions upon millions of girls out there that would happily trade in their husband or boyfriend for someone like The Rock or John Cena.
In the hypermasculine archetype is the general hypermasculine kind of guy. This is pretty much the Chad high school bully that grew up, shaved his head, and got a bunch of sleeve tattoos. These guys almost scream one night stand and are the type of guys that are going to steal your girl on the back of a motorcycle. They've definitely got higher appeal, but to be honest with you, they're going to attract a lot of girls with daddy issues. So if that's your thing, I'd say it's going to go into mid appeal. Next up is—
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Is the Turkey Trip Maxer. This guy's—
Hey, bro, hey, easy with that talk about turkey, all right? I've only been 3 times, okay? I've only been 3 times, and all I got was hair. No veneers yet.
Going to Turkey, getting a new hairline, dosing the fuck out of Milanotan too, then getting on a plane to Bali and getting his—
Do you guys know what Milanotan is? What he just mentioned? Milanotan is like a peptide that you can inject that gives you like an incredible tan. And I know guys that have taken it and do end up having like the most beautiful bronze look. But I've never taken it, although I could definitely use it. I'm pale as fuck, but I don't know. There's just something kind of scary about injecting something that changes the color of your skin. No matter how safe some people might say it is, I don't know. But if there's more research, I'll definitely consider it.
Many tattoos as he possibly can, on top of the veneers. Surprisingly, these guys actually have a lot of appeal, simply because they put so much effort into their appearance. They typically take care of everything else as well. Well, yes, they definitely look a little bit more on the fake end.
I was gonna say the Ibiza final boss. I gotta say, man, if you put this above the last guy, like the Randy Orton type of guys, then I might have to argue with you a little bit.
I believe these guys hold their weight pretty well. So for that reason, I'm going to put it into mid appeal.
Okay, I don't think these guys belong on the same level as the hyper masculine guys. I think they're like low appeal. I know the video, I know the type of the examples you use, like the Ibiza final boss. That's like the most extreme, most exaggerated version of it. But even the guys that, come to mind when you think of this type of guy, I still think they're less attractive to the general public than the hyper masculine guy.
Behind the hypermasculine archetype. Next up, we have the sort of Aquaman archetype. To be honest, I think these guys have exceptionally high appeal, as they sort of have this exotic appearance to them. You're sort of balancing the masculine archetype with a bit more feminine features, such as the long hair, for example.
Jason Momoa used to be like my biggest man crush. I still think he's a stud when he's fit, but it seems like 90% of the time he's just like drinking Guinness and kind of fat and got a dad bod. But when he's on his shit, it's tough to beat, man.
Prime example is Jason Momoa or Roman Reigns, and if you look at the comment section of Roman Reigns in his prime, you'll see exactly what I mean. So for that reason, I'm going to put this one, it's actually tough. I think I'm almost going to put it into max appeal, but not quite there yet. I'd say this is a little bit more niche down. I'm going to put this into high appeal. Next up.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that high appeal just because they lack a little bit of that maybe feminine appeal, that pretty boy look that kind of like takes away the intimidating factor. These guys come off as super intimidating. Like they look like they could literally throw you through 10 walls without even trying. And that's kind of scary for not only guys, but also girls. Like if you're going to be living with this person, you don't want to be feeling like, you know, they could just dominate you at any minute.
Next up, we have the Rockstar or bad boy archetype. You notice with a lot of guys in this hypermasculine archetype that they almost always have tattoos, are jacked, and are tanned. Some great examples of the Rockstar / bad boy archetype is Machine Gun Kelly and Machine Gun Kelly 2, also known as Nelson Harley. To be honest with these guys, they definitely look like a bit of a bad idea to women, but that's all a part of the appeal that they carry. These guys will typically do the best in clubbing environments. Don't get me wrong, you definitely have to be tall, which is typical with this archetype, but they definitely look very exciting to women. And by the way, Machine Gun Kelly dates Megan Fox, so that's all you need to know. So for that
so I would say the most modern version of this is probably that dude Vinny Hacker. He has like a cult following, but these guys are super niche. Like who they attract is super niche. It's usually these like alt girls, you know, septum piercings, purple hair, stuff like that. Girls that are like into that vibe, like the girl in the Midwest, you know, the Southern belles probably aren't looking at these guys oogling and ogling. So I do think they have very niche appeal, but the appeal that they do get from those girls is like insane. So I definitely agree, like high appeal.
I'm going to have to put this one into high appeal, just behind the Aquaman archetype. Also, if you want to use my Mogger calculator to calculate your SMV for absolutely free, you can check the first link in the description and it'll take about 10 minutes for you to complete. Let me know your results down in the comment section below. So next one is the superhero / Superman archetype. This is one of my personal favorites. Some good examples of this archetype are guys like Henry Cavill, David Lade.
I agree completely. Henry Cavill is my number one. I think he's like the best looking guy to ever live. No homo. I see he's got David Lade here. No argument there. If only Dave was like, I think he'd actually be a little bit more attractive if he had a little bit higher body fat. He almost just looks too thin. Like his tiny little waist, it's like feminine in a way, but it looks great. I don't want to like, you know, start any shit, but I don't know. I just think the more balanced, more meaty physiques definitely are going to appeal to a broader spectrum of people. I don't know. What do you think?
David Lade. For this one, you've kind of got to have a...
No offense, David, you're still a stud.
Greek god / superhero aesthetic to you. That means white clavicles, like, an exceptional...
Okay, I have to harp back on this. Like prime Henry Cavill from Superman, I'll put an image right here, versus David Lade. Which one is gonna attract more women? Like guys too, of course, but like women, let's be real, it's more common. So like, who do you think is gonna attract more? I think it's definitely Henry Cavill.
An exceptional V-taper, a hero-like facial structure, a thick neck, but also a handsome face. It's definitely one of the hardest archetypes to fit into, but if you do fit into this archetype, you will do phenomenally well. Think off the top of your head how many people have actually played Superman or even look like a comic book accurate Superman. It's very, very few. So for that case, I'm definitely gonna have to put this one into max appeal if you do it right. Next up is the...
I agree completely. I think this is probably the highest. If you put somebody higher than that, I don't know if I can agree with that, bro, but let's see.
Next up is the Jock Chad archetype. So this...
That's me. I genuinely did not know I was in this video. Did he use me as the little thumbnail in the bottom? Yo, that's me. I was literally like 19 in this photo. Yeah, I like dyed it really hard for this photo shoot with Jason Ellis, and he does like all the covers of Muscle and Fitness and stuff like this. I saw this picture of Jeff Side who did a photo shoot with this guy, and I was like, I need to pay and do a photo shoot with him too. So I did. Okay, you guys don't care.
Archetype is pretty much going to be the person that you think of when you think of the word Chad. He's the captain of the high school football team, he dates the hottest cheerleader in school, and he looks like Hitler's wet dream. And he'll give you a wedgie while doing so. I'd say for this,
I would never do that. I would never do that. Promise.
You really cannot go wrong. It's very broad appealing. It's also rare if you have all the pieces put together. You know, the strong jaw, the blonde hair, the blue eyes. Brett Maverick, Dolph.
Speaking of strong jaw, if you guys are trying to build up that strong, prominent jawline, look no further than my jawline chewing gum. This is 10 times harder than normal chewing gum. I'll put the link down below.
Lungren are great examples of this.
Dolph Lundgren is like, he's up there with Henry Cavill. I think if he had like a different hairstyle back in his prime, he definitely had that Nazi haircut, which lost its appeal completely. I was actually Dolph Lundgren last Halloween, and I'll put a picture up too. Let me know what you think. Did I nail it?
Not quite as a striking archetype as the superhero one in my opinion, but I'd say it's definitely almost on par with it. For some reason though, I feel like the Aquaman archetype just beats it out, so I'm gonna have to put it in between the Rockstar archetype and the Aquaman archetype. Next up, we have the vampire archetype. This is also another one that's extremely hard to fill out. If you know what a vampire is described like in women's romance novels, you'll know that they're pretty much described as almost perfect. Clear, glowing skin, sharp features, almost like a godlike presence, because that's the whole appeal of a vampire. Your allure always brings people in. Guys like this will always be pale, mysterious, almost a slender.
That's like you, bro. I think that's your archetype. This guy could definitely play a vampire. Maybe just grow your hair out just a little bit more, make it a little more like floppy and messy. Then that's you, bro.
Like archetype. Some great examples of this is going to be Robert Pattinson in his prime and also Ian Somerhalder in his prime. To be honest with you, man, I think this one is probably the highest appeal one we've got yet. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put that one just one above the superhero archetype, which sounds a bit surprising, but to be honest with you, it's all about rarity. The rarer you are, in my opinion, the higher appeal you're going to have, especially if you fit a specific girl's archetype.
I will agree with you. These are probably the most prettiest, rare, most elite looking guys. However, that level of attractiveness actually does, believe it or not, intimidate some girls. So it often helps to kind of like take it down one notch. And I think you find the most broad appeal with those type of people, like the Chads, I might add.
We have the Mediterranean Chad. This one's going to be easily described by someone like Michelle Marone from 365 Days, which your girlfriend probably forced you to watch and went to sleep that night thinking about him instead of you. Guys like Alessandro de la Sola, Alfredo de la Cruz, some extremely high appeal guys are going to go into this category. It pretty much fits the tall, dark, and handsome archetype. In my opinion, it doesn't get much better than this. So for my own personal biases, I'm going to have to put it away, and I'm going to have to put it, honestly, the highest appeal one we have yet, into max appeal above the vampire and the superhero archetype. Next up, we have the...
I definitely can't disagree with that. Those guys are studs. They're like the pretty boy with the masculinity, with the facial hair, with, it's like if you combine the pretty boy, not the pretty boy, but like the Chad guy with the like bad boy kind of vibe, you know, with the, yeah, I explained that terribly, but I think you get what I'm saying.
We have the Wall Street preppy archetype. Some good examples of this is Christian Bale, David Gandy, for example. You know, sort of the refined gentleman archetype. It's a guy who looks like he's got his shit together and is definitely going to take care of you, which is extremely attractive. Although
it's like, it's the James Bond vibe, the Batman / James Bond vibe. And yeah, it's definitely attractive.
These guys will typically talk a little bit too much about their business around women they're talking to because that's all their life really revolves around. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put this one at the end of high appeal. Next up in robust, pretty...
Yeah, no argument there. I think it's not quite on the very top level, but yeah, high appeal.
Pretty boy, we have the Prince archetype. These guys are definitely categorized by their long, swift hair. They kind of fit that old money aesthetic as well. And similarly to the vampire archetype, they kind of just look a little bit perfect. Probably due to the fact that they've inherited daddy's wealth and they've spent a lot of money on surgeries. But in all seriousness, I think these guys have an extremely high appeal. For example, who is in the photo, Devin Broughton. If you look at his Instagram account, it's essentially him staring at the camera, wearing a nice tailored suit in an exotic country. Not saying a single word, getting hundreds of millions of views. This shit is absolute rope fuel, and for that reason, I'm gonna have to put it into max appeal. I'm gonna say one behind the vampire archetype. Next up, we have the fallen angel archetype.
Can't believe he's got 4 archetypes that are above me. That doesn't seem right, does it, boys? Please tell me that's not right.
We have the fallen angel archetype, or the Apollo look. Pretty much a perfect angel or Lucifer that got sent from heaven all the way to hell and then somehow landed on earth. The whole appeal around this archetype is that you look godly. If you don't look godly, then it doesn't really work. Some great examples of this is Vasily Stepanov in his prime, Hayden Christensen in his prime, and Eric Roberts in his prime. These guys have a very soft and angelic touch to them, but also just enough masculinity to look intimidating as well. It's very rare that you're going to pull off this archetype. The long hair isn't typically for every single woman, so for that reason, I'm going to put it into the high appeal category. Next up,
yeah, it's like you're pretty boy, but you got this mysterious vibe, and it usually comes down to the eyes. It's all in the eyes, Chico.
So we have the bad boy archetype. I just realized I'm unintentionally wearing the exact clothing that he's got on the image. These guys typically wear leather jacks almost everywhere. In the 80s, they would have been greasers. They've got dark features, a cigarette in their mouth. They've come to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and they've all run out of bubblegum. And they also typically...
You know who doesn't run out of gum? Me. I always keep that thing on me, and you should too.
Own a motorcycle. Because these guys look so edgy and their fashion is on point, which, let's be honest, women absolutely adore, I'm going to put this one into high appeal. Next up for the pretty boy archetype.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
archetype, we have the surfer. Prime Jordan Barrett is a great example of this. It's the classic long blonde hair, blue eyes, tan skin, living in surfer's paradise. I know, for example, on Gold Coast, these guys will have absolutely massive appeal, which is where Jordan Barrett is from. Lord knows how much.
I think a better example of the surfer archetype would be Jay Alvarez. Got the curly golden hair, deep blue eyes, tall and slim.
She cleaned up when he was younger, probably way turned gay. I'd say this is a little bit more niche.
Just slips that in there.
But if you're a surfer Chad and you live in a country like Australia, that is absolutely max appeal. So this is really going to depend on the country you're in. I'm going to put this one just above the jock archetype. Next up, we have...
Damn. Okay, so everybody in front of me, to the left of me, and above me is better than me, or my archetype. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
The skater archetype. Skater is definitely
Damn, tough day for the Chads.
getting a little bit rarer these days. So it's a little bit more niche. Younger women typically like this a little bit more. Props on you for going outside though. It's pretty much the mix between the surfer archetype and the bad boy archetype. I think these guys do pretty well, but not exceptionally. So for that reason, I'm going to put them into the top of mid appeal. And then we have the general pretty boy archetype. So if you're in the pretty boy archetype, most guys who are pretty boys end up growing into chads when they're older. A perfect example is Francisco Lachowski in his prime, pretty much the quintessential pretty boy. To really pull off the pretty boy archetype, you have to have full lips, an aesthetic eye area, and to be honest, pretty much anything a chad would. Just be younger. That is literally it. Although there are exceptions, of course, Francisco Lachowski didn't exactly become a chad when he got older. Some people may disagree, but
yeah, I'd say he's not a chad. Chad is like striking facial features where it looks masculine. It's a wide jaw. It's, a masculine nose. Think Henry Cavill, these type of guys. Chico Lachowski's still a very good looking guy, but he's maintained his more softer facial features. And now he's just a good looking, pretty older gentleman. He's not quite chad level.
I think his bone structure was just not as masculine as...
That's what I said.
As someone like Henry Cavill, for example, who started off as a robust pretty boy and ended up into a chad. But in terms of how much these guys actually appeal to women, it's going to be extremely high. And for that reason, I'm going to put it just behind the Prince archetype. So first up in the soft boy archetype, we have the K-pop/BTS singer. The reason I put this one into soft boy and not pretty boy is because the beauty standards in South Korea, for example, are a lot more skewed more towards the feminine side of the spectrum. If you look at all the plastic surgeries that they perform, typically they'll do the opposite of what the Western clinics tend to perform. Things like a V-line surgery, which is literally shaving your jawbone. I could not think of anything worse. To be fair though, these guys have absolutely astronomical appeal. They have exceptional style as well. Obviously a little bit more niche down, but judging by the modern day in 2025, I'm going to say these guys are definitely high appeal. Next up, we have the...
Yeah, I would agree with that. Even though it doesn't probably appeal to a lot of Americans, the rest of the developed countries agree pretty much unanimously that these are some of the best looking guys in the world. It is a very cultural thing, man. Lots of different cultures experience attraction differently.
General soft boy archetype. Finn Wolfhard is a good example of that. Timothy Chalamet, for example, or Harry Styles. This one is...
I don't know if I'd put Harry Styles in there, but where else would I put him? Yeah, maybe just like pretty boy. Like he's got the very, very pretty eyes and the long eyelashes and all that. I don't know.
Definitely appealing more to more of the mainstream narrative. You're going to attract girls who are a lot more younger and really just do not have much longevity. From what I've seen, pretty much any of the other archetypes would appeal a lot more to women. And because the soft boy typically does not age very well at all, compared to say a robust pretty boy or a pretty boy, I'm going to put this one into mid appeal. And finally, we have the alien archetype, which deserves a tier of itself simply because they're not even from this earth. A great example is Jordan Barrett in his prime. They are the epitome.
Didn't you say his prime was like when he was a surfer boy? I wouldn't say he's in his prime now. I'd say he's like kind of pushed it too far. He looks quite alien. I think you said it better than anyone could.
To be honest with you, from pretty much everything I've seen, from even talking to women personally, I'd honestly say these guys have almost negative appeal. They've honestly reached such a point of aesthetics that it almost scares women off rather than lure them in. Personally, I don't even think that's cope either. I genuinely believe outside the modeling sphere, someone who looked like this will absolutely look insane when they're walking on the street. They definitely will attract women. I mean, obviously, if you look like this, it's a bit like the bodybuilder archetype. It's just a bit too much for women, except on the facial side of things. So you guessed it, I'm going to have to put this one into negative appeal.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think it's like, the story of Icarus. You fly too close to the sun, you can get burned. And I think a lot of these people just take this looks maxing stuff way too far. They're doing the bone smashing and the buccal fat removal and all this type of stuff. And they end up looking a little bit more eccentric than they might have intended.
Also, just letting you guys know, I actually offer a one-on-one looks maxing mentorship where I work personally with you and make you transform. If you're interested in me making you into a mogger,
okay. Yeah, so check out his coaching thing. I think I have actually looked like many of these archetypes in the past. I'll put a few of them up on the screen. I definitely was like the total meathead with the shaved head. I've had the thick beard. I've been pretty boy. Let me know which one version of myself you found to be most attractive, because I think we could all maybe learn a a little bit something from that. But other than that, I thought this was a really good video. I like this this video style and the editing and all that. So check out Roars, and also let me know if there's another video you want me to react to, and I'll definitely do that. And until next time, peace.